Hi, I'm Catherine, the creator of Shia and the Jetsons Community Preservation of the Promised Land. Okay, I want to just do a little quick video about crop circles and UFOs, where, UFOs is not like, your round shaped UFOs like we think it is. It can be in many different forms because UFOs are like life forms. UFOs looks like planets, it's like different life forms too. But then also, UFOs can be coming to come in clouds and stuff. But then there's also, they have intelligence where they have those blue beam balls that make crop circles. Is what I wanted to talk about, crop circles, a little bit, to go into the movie. If you build it, they will come. Because when we talk about the promised land, in which I am the creator of the promised land, trying to cross you guys over to the promised land, you know, in a physical sense, to where we have the vehicles that I've patented, and that's moving forward. Oh, and that is moving forward too, by the way. The patent that I've done is moving forward because I'm putting together a nice little business plan for uh, people that just want to see it, like philanthropists like Elon Musk. I'm just going to send them the business plan. And if, he wants to help build the patent that I already have, good, so be it. But we'll be on it, of course. If he's going to build the Jetsons, it's your Jetsons, so you have to see how he built it. So it ain't gonna be putting no chips in it or anything like that. We have to be on it. We're gonna make our badges the way that we supposed to. And so we'll get on it. But let's just look at some videos to put together of how we're going to the promised land. We have to be aware of where we're at, who fucked us up, who messed us up. We have to be aware of that. Also, too, thank you so much, the people that donated. Thank you so much for being my Patreon too. Also, please go to my Patreon because I'm about to load up some videos right now. But go to my Patreon, so that you can be a member. And then you also, when you're a member, you actually donate. That's donating. And then you can see the videos. See the videos, and you be the Patreon. So you can just go to my Patreon. It's like Miss Catherine Irvin. So Katherine, Catherine, Katherine Irvin, Catherine Irvin. You know, or is Shia and the Jetsons? Look for me on that. Or you can download Telegram. But let's look at this.
Right now is that this political pressure is combining with all of the other different pressures coming from different places and the media to create an atmosphere where the knowledge is readily being distributed.
There will be a big discombobulation for the world.
It's possible they may lose their patience. If we drag this out long enough, they may be forced to do a force majeure disclosure event. There's a big difference between world governments announcing to their citizens the presence of extraterrestrials and providing information, and extraterrestrials forcing their reality on the world's people outside of government involvement.
I know of no government on this planet that wants its citizens to owe their primary allegiance to the planet instead of that individual government. So I'm not expecting full disclosure. I don't want to see it. I want the government to say, yes, we're being visited. We're holding these international conferences to deal with the psychological, religious, technological, etc. aspects of that.
Full disclosure is only going to come from them, okay? And think about it. All they got to do is hover over a city long enough for the news crews to get out and take footage, and then the game's up.
Over time, they think that we will evolve to the point where we can establish communication, but it is at some point in the future. It is not going to happen immediately, according to the reports that I've received.
Telling the truth in times of universal deceit is a revolutionary act.
Look, the situation as we know it is this. There's an extraterrestrial presence. It's probably been engaging us for a very long time.
Well, I think, yeah, when you consider the universe is billions of years old, and I think even the Earth is somewhere like 4 billion years old, it's pretty hard to believe that us who have recorded history of like 4,000 years are the beginning of intelligent life on the planet. There's a lot of evidence on the planet that indicates...
Okay, that right there, you see that, okay, this is a pyramid. This is a UFO landing pad. That is, this is not nothing where, because they use this for you, you know, you cut, you were cutting people head off. Quetzalcoatl, I guess, came along later on and then had Mexican people to be sacrificed to cut their head off to bring back the sun. But that didn't make any sense because it was already here. And this right here was used as a UFO landing pad. So the UFO would come down and the people would come down these stairs. The UFO would land and then the people would come out of UFOs and come down the stairs and then go to where, you know, their land. This is how we came here. You know, this was lit up. This was all lit up. You know what I mean? But anyway, this, when you look at Apocalypto, you watch the movie, you'll see how they were having Mexican people chop their head off, getting sacrificed and cut their head off using these, you know, pyramids. But that's not how you use those. This is not what the pyramids were used for sacrifice. It wasn't about sacrifice. You know, cutting people, you know, taking a heart out and stuff like that. That's not what it was used for. It was used to it was used for, it was not for use for murder, okay? We're cultivators. We're not killers and murderers or anything like that. But it just seems like that whenever you get, when, like, the lighter you get, the whiter you get, the more vicious you become. The It's either you're gonna be sacrificed or you're just gonna outright just murder people and take their land. So Mexicans was cutting off their heads and rolling them down here, and then the white people was just, well, they were just killing people anyway. But we never built these pyramids for that. Okay, but
The very advanced civilizations have come and gone.
Because you can look at these places and see that it was too perfect for us to do with the tools and the technology that we had at the time. Therefore, what was the other element that gave us the
okay,
ability?
because we did that. We built that. Black people did that. No Mexicans. No Peru, Arab, Egyptians made that. No, it was black people from Sirius, and us. We're from planet Sirius, and because remember now, Bobby Hemmett said that we came from other primal worlds other than this. So we came from Mars. There's pyramids right here, just like that Sphinx in Mars. That the little 11-year-old boy I was telling you about, he came from, well, he was murdered on Mars, and he said that the key to our salvation is to get the information from her ear right here. This is the ear he was talking about, from underneath the ear. Well, we have to get the technology, because there's written technology. If you go inside the back of her ear, it's technology. But see, that's a lie. He's just trying to steal some shit, because in Mars, it's the same Sphinx over there. It's pharaohs over there, statues of pharaohs over there in Mars. And that he was murdered in Mars. And so, of course, he would know that there's things in here. But in order for you to solve the problem, which he already know what the problem is, in which I think he already wrote it down, but nobody want to say anything. It's about the cleansing. You have to cleanse a certain race of people. That's basically it. Just with Fatima too. When we talk about Fatima in the Vatican, where those three children had the prophecy, they were talking about just basically a cleansing, in order for you to get rid of this evil. You know, it's the woman who gives birth to Eve children, reptilian snake type people is what the problem is. But anyway,
To create these wonderful things if it wasn't some sort of intervention.
UFOs are real, not something fictional or imaginary, and I think that's beyond dispute today. When I was a kid, they said, well, they're just hallucinations or some kind of mass psychosis, and of course, today, all you have to do is Google UFOs and look at the images, and you can't take a picture of an hallucination.
There is an extraterrestrial presence. That's an absolute fact. It's not a theory. It's not a speculation. It's an absolute fact. Just because the government says, no, it's not, well, that doesn't change that. And besides, anybody that believes the government these days is foolish. And the government has known about this ET presence. That's an absolute fact.
The concern.
You know, when I was little, I would count my way to shop at
yeah, he says absolute fact. And
of certain human groups, and they are attempting to interfere or intervene in our evolution at this point in order to bring us to a point where we won't destroy ourselves because they're afraid that we might do that.
I think they're here for their purposes. One of them was probably to
Okay, but what?
quarantine us.
Oh, what?
If you were an alien, would you want us out there? Military budget $1 trillion this
Okay,
year.
hold on. Listen. Cause this is what she said. She said
our evolution at this point in order to bring us to a point where we won't destroy ourselves because they're afraid that we might do that.
I think they're here for their purposes. One of them was probably to quarantine us. If you were an alien, would you want us out there?
See?
Military budget $1 trillion this year. In World War II, we killed 50 million people. We destroyed 1,700 cities.
And I think the alien agenda is to.
So come on. He said we destroyed 1,700 cities. What cities? What cities he talking about? Huh? He talking about black cities. You destroyed all of the cities. He talking about war. She just said it has to be a cleansing. She said that, and I'm saying that when they talk about disclosure this and disclosure that, there is no such thing as disclosure when they already intervene when they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. That's when the UFOs started to come in and started to abduct white people and taking their DNA and cloning them to destroy the white people on the surface right now in our lifetime right now by the voom vooms to replace them, okay, with who they just abducted, because if you abduct somebody and you take the DNA and you make a clone, that clone is going to be here, and then the other white person is going to have to die because the white person just replaced them. That would never do these bombs like that, would never run people off their country, would never destroy 200 and what did he say, how many neighborhoods he just said?
They're afraid that we might do that.
I think they're here for their purposes. One of them was probably to quarantine us.
See, to quarantine white people. Their purpose, when Cain said, I'm going to come down here and you can't stop me, he's saying that I'm going to come down here to quarantine white people. This is what this man is saying. He said probably they come down here to quarantine us. Yes, because so that you won't bomb and kill us and kill nature.
If you were an alien, would you want us out there? Military budget $1 trillion this year. In World War II, we killed 50 million people.
50 million people in probably 2 wars alone, 3 wars. I mean, just keep killing and over and over and over again. And of course he said, if you were an alien, would you want us up there? See, this is why I'm trying to show you something. Like, they're showing you that they're in the day and age to where they have to be removed. It's what this disclosure is, what it's really all about. And the crop circles have been letting everybody know that's what it means.
We destroyed 1,700.
Oh, but the crop circles is also meaning that it's also saying that we're going to change. We're going to be powerful. And then the ones who are parasites are going to turn into, well, let's just say the Gentiles and the heathens are going to turn into what they always were in the beginning, were parasites. So it's going to be a thing where we're going to physically see that with our own eyes. See, they're in disguise of the fleshly body to where they look normal. Where you can see Becky and Roger down the street and they look normal, but no. After they take the boom boom, whoever survives this is going to turn. That's why you have to see the movie Carnage, Let There Be Carnage. Please watch that movie. It just came out on Prime. Watch that. It's telling also about the black woman, that when these sentient beings come down here, don't be screaming and running off at the mouth, because they're talking about that they're going to save black women down here. They're going to look like creatures eating these Gentiles and these heathens, but the black women have a problem with running off at the mouth. And if you watch Carnage, he's telling you that, black woman, to that if you see us and we're not eating you, then don't be screaming and don't be running off at the mouth and just acting crazy and don't panic because I'm telling you, this is what you need to see the movie Carnage because it's talking about black women. I'm just letting you know because Carnage, um, you know, has married this black woman, and her problem was that, and she could have had she could have had any power she wanted. Why did they pick her mouth of her being so loud? Because black women have a problem with that, and if they're coming to, and if another sentient being that you never seen before that look crazy is gonna come to destroy your enemy, and you don't know it, watch the movie Venom 2. What? Yeah, no, that's Carnage. Yeah, let there be carnage. Watch it because you'll see another black woman beating up a man in the alley, and she stood there. She was quiet, and Venom said, "Well, she didn't know that she needed our help." But they're talking about saving the black woman, but at the same time, you can't be acting crazy when this war hit. You have to keep your mouth shut and be quiet. You know what I mean? Because if they're not eating you, then what you screaming for? I'm just saying this is what's gonna happen. I'm just letting you know beforehand of what's going to happen.
Cities?
And I think the alien agenda is to observe and try to help kick the human evolution up the evolutionary ladder in a covert manner so that we will hurry up and become part of the intergalactic community instead of wiping ourselves out with thermonuclear weapons.
See? You see? In order for you to get to the higher evolution, in order for you to get to the promised land, which is higher evolution, because the promised land will allow you from third dimension right here, this hellhole we live in, to get to the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh dimension and higher. So right, but you have to understand of that you have to know that we're in hell and that there's about to be a cleansing of what he just said. There's about to be a cleansing, and so that we can move to higher evolution. Now we were stuck for 400 years, but there's a time limit. 400 years, that's the time limit in which we just passed it. We just crossed over, just like Kane said in the movie, in the TV series Loki episode number 6. He said we have to go through this journey of what we're going through right now. We have to see where we're at to know who messed us up. Is it the white man, black man? Well, it's both. Because that, how the Moors brought them over here and now they're both claiming land and they didn't get no land and we still don't have no land. We're paying rent. We're still suffering down here, right? So we know who's fucking us up. We know that it's the mayor, governor, and all that stuff. And nobody said anything to them. So now it's too late to say anything to them. We can't even talk to them now because now they're engulfed by taking the voom voom, right? Now, with the voom voom, you gotta watch Let There Be Carnage. Watch it. It just came out. I'm just letting you know you gotta watch the movie. Because the ones that took the voom voom is gonna turn into that. Watch Net Most Wanted. I love Net Most Wanted because he shows the information. And I'm gonna go on my Patreon channel right now and show you 3 more videos on that right now tonight. But here, let's just see. They don't want this to happen no more because this happened to Hiroshima. This really happened. This was a real bomb. It wiped out damn near half of Korea, North and South Korea. That's and that's why Russia, Putin don't want that to happen but it's inevitable of what's going to happen to America because America is inching its way closer to Russia, where Russia is going to push the button, and then it's going to hit. I think it's going to hit California because something about it. They already over here anyway. Their tanks is already coming over here because America is inching its way to Ukraine.
Andromedans are one of 139 planetary systems that comprise the Interstellar Alliance. We are and have always been the watchdogs of the universe for nearly 2 million years.
On the other hand, let's not act as if we're their equals. I don't talk to the squirrels in my backyard. I might say scat once in a while, So we're not equals. People say, wow, they land on a White House lawn. The President of the United States does not speak for 7 billion Earthlings. That's pretty darn clear.
The universe is at least universally
He telling the truth. He telling the truth.
years old. We have a young star. There were stars like ours and planets like ours billions of years before our star existed. So if life can develop on Goldilocks planets, which it does, there has been life in this universe going back billions of years before we existed. And so the idea that extraterrestrial civilizations have been engaging other planets and exploring the galaxy makes total sense. And so we very well have had extraterrestrial engagement going back as far as you want to go, even before this planet had a biosphere, maybe.
I think that they don't want us to kill ourselves, because if we do, we're going to destroy this beautiful planet as well. They use this planet too.
We have exploded 2,000 nuclear warheads on this planet, only 2 on people, thank goodness. We're not nice guys.
There seems to be
See, he know that he said we're not nice guys. See, he know that his people got to go, and so he knows that black people are here for a totally different reason than white people are here. White people are here to be white people, to be destructive, to be what they are, because it helps the black people perfect our souls. If every day is a sunny day, then what's a sunny day? If this is a school, and in a school you have to have an adversary, you have to have an enemy, you have to have, because we are a diamond in the rough. What's the rough? White people. It roughs you up. It makes it creates poverty, and then it makes us corrupt to where we become thieves and shit, and we become struggling, and we become hoes and pimps, and we steal, we become thieves. You know what I'm saying? We become corrupted because they created the poverty. And so now we know what it feels like to be impoverished, what it feels like to live in homelessness and not have anything, because somebody made us like that. Somebody corrupted us, right? But now we know how to get out of it. We have to recognize who made us messed up, who messed us up. Okay, now we recognize it. Okay, now we have to get away from it. We got to, by any means necessary, we got to get away from the enemy that's corrupting us, that's making us eat bad foods and go to the clubs and wear nice clothes in the middle of war and hell. You know, you going to a club. What you going to a club for? Who you finna meet? Another dummy that don't know nothing, that you in war, and you going to the club to meet another dummy. So when you go home, you got to go to this same job that's making you pay this rent, that's going against your soul, because you're not supposed to think about shit like this. You're not supposed to go to school to get a job, to get more money to pay the motherfucking mortgage. What mortgage? When is your house in the first place? So you was never supposed to do this. And they are just now figuring out that they are the cause of this. Especially the dude with the glasses is saying, see, he's saying we're the problem. He said we're not nice guys. See, he said it, they're not nice guys. They created so much war. So now they know that it's time, that disclosure is them already making people take the boom boom. They already infiltrated everybody because they took all of the DNA they needed to take when they abducted all the white people in the 70s and the 60s. They got all the DNA that they needed to make these cloned men. They made millions and millions of these cloned men that they put down here, that you see today walking around here, and they're these young men ages 17 to 27. Right? Okay, well, they're going to be an army against these people here, and they know it. The dude with the glasses know it. He know that the war is coming. And the other dude, she's trying to be all like, oh, we have to come together. But she knows that everybody, like every race, comes in here for a different purpose. We came here to technically get messed up by all other races so that we can learn how to take care of one another, to learn what not to do. Now I know what not to do. I know not to be a coon. I don't want to ever be a coon. I don't want to ever go against my own kind and bite the hand that feeds me. I have to stay with my own kind because it's all we got if we're all in the higher consciousness level. But we have to get rid of the coons that would take us over with the other parasites. So we have to learn that not all black people is the same as you based on their actions towards you, even if they in your family. So we're here for a different purpose of learning about our ego, about ourselves, about who we really are on a personal level. On a personal level, they're here to learn what it feels like to live in heaven, to rule over gods, and to make the most greatest mistake in your life that you for 400 years you should have been our friend because you learned that you took us over, so you should have stopped right at World War II. The moment you took over our land, you'd be like, damn, this ain't right. But you didn't. You kept on going, and your children's children is suffering from that. It's gonna
Could
pay
be a
the,
lot of circumstantial
is
evidence.
gonna pay the price for that. Now your children is paying the price for that right now because they're forced to take the boom boom and forced to be turned into monsters. So when you watch the movie Carnage, Let There Be Carnage, it's Venom, Let There Be Carnage. If you watch that, you'll see how Carnage went in the prisons. Well, he was already in the prison system, and the black man was cheering him on, and he made a whirlwind in that, and he picked up the warden who